2, 1. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On Beat Off Script. I'm Brandito, joined by my co-host Mel, and we're going to be talking about the fresh Boards of Canada album that just dropped May 29th, the day before this recording, Inferno, their first album in 13 years, which I'm excited to go over because I heard a lot of really wicked things about it for like a really long time. But before we get into that, Mel, how's you? How are you doing?
I is good. It's the weekend. I is happy. How is you?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the same thing. Yeah. It's just, I know so much. I've got to do so much work after this recording with lawn care.
Not to brag, but I think we're going to go squeeze in a little 9 holes.
There you go.
So,
okay. I mean,
we did
I'm going to have grass that looks like the grass you're playing on.
Yeah, you are.
Actually, if I remember...
Actually, it's going to be nicer than the court.
The golf course. It doesn't have the nicest grass that you usually play at.
We have such a nice little dingy golf course as our home base.
Yeah, there's a lot of patches.
Yeah, honestly,
yellow patches.
The more I like play on like big golf courses, the more I think our course is actually harder because the shit you're fucking hitting off is like a crapshoot. You're never really
brutal.
Getting like grass.
It is rough.
Yeah.
It is
So it's
rough.
like, I go to a nice course and I'm like, wow, look at all this fluffy stuff.
100%.
But I love her. She's cheap as fuck. 300. It's like not even $300 and we can golf unlimited.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, I love that for
sign
you
me up.
on that side of things. I mean, if we're gonna, like, just to segue this into what we're going to be talking about, obviously, none of our golf courses are going to be the same as, you know, the ones in Scotland, which is where Boards of Canada are from. Hey, see? That's called a segue.
I didn't see where you're going. I like it.
Yeah, right? I'm all over the place here. I'm picking up pieces and putting them all together here, just like Boards of Canada does, in lots of different ways. And I'll explain that to you guys in just a second, because you guys are probably wondering, who is Boards of Canada? Where have they been the last 13 years? Well, let me tell you. Boards of Canada is a Scottish electronic duo, Mike Sanderson and Marcus Ewan, who have been around since 1986. Spending most of their lives in Scotland, they were briefly living in Calgary, Alberta, which is somewhere on the map of when you do come up where I want to take you to, while their father worked on the Calgary Flames Arena, the Saddle Dome. They were a musical family and experimented with tape machines to create their own compositions. So they used to cut up pieces of tape and kind of stick them all together, and that's how they would create music. So that's how
sampling used to happen.
100%. And in 1986, they finally formed the Boards of Canada, named after the National Film Board of Canada. After a lot of small projects for years and playing small venues, they finally dropped their debut album, Music Has the Right to Children, featuring a cover with a picture overlooking downtown Banff, which is also in Alberta, which is also...
I can't wait to go!
This was widely acclaimed and is featured at number 35 on Pitchfork's top 100 albums of the 90s. In 2002, they dropped their follow-up, so a huge chunk of time in between those two albums. I think it was... Oh, no, I didn't write down when Music Has the Right to Children ended up coming out, but I think it was 94? 92, maybe?
I am pulling up Spotify.
Either way. In 2002, they dropped their follow-up album, GeoDaddy, with a shift to kind of a darker sort of space than Music Has the Right, in 98. So 4 years in between. But they had already been out for 12 years and doing things musically for 12 years. But again, GeoDaddy had a shift to kind of a darker sort of space than Music Has the Right, and then Campfire Head phase in 2005. And then finally, their fourth studio album and most recent dropped in 2013, another 8 years later after the Campfire Head phase, with Tomorrow Harvest. Again, widely huge acclaim. They've been renowned for minimal projects, but a really, really strong critical acclaim for every single one of them. Stylistically, they use old, outdated technology alongside sample-heavy electronica. They use analog sounds to create a nostalgic sort of intelligent dance music, and you're kind of known as being one of the creme de la creme of intelligent dance music, and like one of the creators of hauntology. Lots of different things that you can get from them because their sound is just incredibly unique. Yeah, they've named influences such as Joni Mitchell, the Incredible String Band, the Beatles, My Bloody Valentine, and Meat Beat Manifesto. I wanted to make sure I included that. I've never heard of them before, but that's Meat Beat Manifesto. And said that even like RZA from Wu-Tang Clan in his sample usage and formation being a big part of how they appreciate music. Inferno was set to maintain that similar electronic sound from their works prior while incorporating more live instrumentation and vocals to give it kind of maybe a little bit more of an updated appearance. And when you think, the instrumentation they used in the 90s was from the 70s, which would make them using the same age of equipment now, equipment from the 2000s. Which means that
we're vintage.
Yeah, we're
beyond vintage.
We're outdated music equipment at this point, so that's fun for us to think about and put on our shoulders.
I had a Walkman. I loved it.
We did cover them in our last episode 31. With Prophecy at 1420 megahertz. So if you want to hear other details that Mel had put together in terms of their biography, go back and check those out. But otherwise, Mel, how did you feel about Boards of Canada and what we were going to get ourselves into before you listened to the album?
Yeah, so that single that we covered, Prophecy, was my first introduction to them, and I fucking loved it. I was so sold on that, so I was really excited to get into this one. I was excited.
Sweet.
It was a trip. Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah. Let's get into the track by track here. It starts off, and so I didn't grab a clip of this one. Introit. It's kind of like a little interlude, fun little kind of Casio-esque synth play. Mm-hmm. It slips into a dark sound, though, and a play out into the next track, which is pretty much what I think we should expect pretty much consistently. Is you could really hit play on this album and it will play all the way through and consistently. And I think if you hit repeat, I actually think it runs all the way around cyclically. So you can just kind of press play and let it go through all of its motions kind of the whole way through. But yeah, Introit, it was a nice little interlude intro and moved into a darker space pretty quickly, which I think is something that sets the theme of the rest of the album.
100%. Yeah, my only note was I Googled what an introit is, and it's a piece of music or a piece of music played or sung at the beginning of a worship service, which I didn't know was a thing. So yeah, they're just instantly just diving into like religion and all sorts of cult activity.
Everybody's favorite podcast subject.
Yeah! Catholicism!
And then that actually takes us into the single that we covered, Prophecy at 1420 megahertz, which, again, if you want to hear the clip, we have that on episode 31 of On Beat Off Script during the track attack. I, again, didn't pull a clip for this one, but as a single, it was easily one of the most engaging that I think we've had on the podcast. Like,
except for if you think I'm a bitch, you should be Chain Remover, which was also from last episode. Last episode was an absolute trip. Yeah, I'm glad Bob was here to just every man it for us, because otherwise, like, there's too much going on. Not having as much fun as we were
able to have, but. Prophecy at 1420 megahertz, it's intense, it's really foreboding, it leaves so much to the imagination, and with it being so early in this project, now that we get a chance to see where it sits in the project and how it incorporates with everything else, I think it really hints at, obviously, like I said, that darker, reveling sound towards maybe some more upbeat and uplifting stuff. Like, it kind of feels like it flows through both sides of it, and this album really kind of mirrors that as it goes through. It was a great single, I think, to set you up for what the album was going to be a lot like.
100%, yeah.
But when you're listening to the album for your first time, you don't necessarily know that. So don't listen to me, listen to it yourself, and you'll kind of find out from there.
Yeah.
But did you have anything else that you wanted to put on 1420 megahertz?
So the only thing I really added to this is I started looking through all of the lore to every single thing. So yeah, this is a reference to the 21 centimeter hydrogen line, which is a radio frequency created by hydrogen atoms. So in 1959, physicists theorized that an alien civilization might use this frequency to communicate. So it's like so crazy, the references on each single track and how we explore such a crazy array of like theology. It's I like the amount of time I spent just researching while I was getting through this album review was insane.
No doubt.
It took me like 3 hours to get through the album. Yeah.
I believe that. It took me significantly less time.
Yeah. I was Googling a lot. So yeah, we could move
I love
on.
that. That's wicked. And that takes us into the first track that I have a clip for, which is Hydrogen, Helium, Lithium, Leviathan, if that's not a mouthful enough for you. So let's go ahead and listen to this.
Man, okay, so yeah, I really enjoyed like the deep bass, or I think that's bass, I don't know, that we're getting. I really enjoyed the twinkly sound over top. It was giving like kids' music box, but like that dark atmosphere mixed together was like a crazy combo for me. I like we get horns at the end that gave us almost like a hopeful ending. And I think like thematically, I find it really interesting that the title is essentially like the first three elements of the periodic table followed by like, I mean, a Leviathan has been like used to explain so many things, but like a mythological sea creature. I thought it was really cool how they're bridging the gap between like legitimate science and like mythology with that, which is just helping. I don't know. We're exploring again so much on this. I thought it cool. It was a nice instrumental.
100%. Yeah, no, it obviously stays in that really dark, moody atmosphere. There's a lot of open space. It's super ambient and sort of creepy with these slight distortions kind of popping in and out. The beat comes in very robotic and technical. Again, super rooted in that kind of 1900s space vibe, right? The build-up and drops I thought were really cool on this track too, specifically, and the way they come out of them with another level of soundscape, I think was really neat. It's kind of like a traditional structure of like an EDM drop, but it doesn't feel like it because the atmosphere around it doesn't feel like dance music at all. Right? So like I thought it was really cool just how they used like what the structures and the basis of what EDM would do for a drop like that. But because the atmosphere is just so different, it really gives it a completely different, taking music theory and being like, okay, well, like how can I ruin what the theory should be behind it? And they do it perfectly.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool the way that they did that.
I do really appreciate an artist who learns the rules of the art and then just figures out how to fucking annihilate and destroy them. Yeah.
That's the whole point of free jazz.
Yeah.
Free jazz. You can't do free jazz unless you understand what jazz is to begin with. And it's like that's like one of the fundamental principles. Like if you take any jazz courses or anything like that, is until you know what jazz is, you can't break out of it.
Yeah.
So
sick.
Yeah, 100%. They kind of do the same thing. That takes us into Age of Capricorn. So let's go ahead and listen to that.
You shed your blood for me to cleanse me. I receive you and your shed blood for remission of my sins. Come into my heart. Save me now. Help me to be ready for your return. In your name, I pray this.
Dude, Again,
How much research did you do on this one?
a lot. Okay, so what a trip. So yeah, maybe. So now we're diving into Nostradamus here. So French astrologer and oracle. So he speculated. So Mabus was speculated to be the Antichrist or harbinger of global conflict, and now we're exploring now John Hughes' interpretation of the prophecies, where he essentially linked Osama bin Laden to being the Antichrist. So that's what they're like spelling out in here. Like Usama is like the phonetic spelling of Osama. And yeah, so anyway, and then the spoken word vocals on top of it that are giving like cult leader to the extreme is a sample of the televangelist Jack Van Imp from his 1990 tape AD 2000 the End. So it's essentially like a prayer to Jesus to absolve us from sin before like the millennium and the world ends. But anyway, I thought this was fucking sick because it's like really pretty and almost like it almost feels brainwashy, this track. Like you're kind of luring us into this like false sense of security, but there's like a weird culty choir effect happening with all of like the vocal layering. I thought this was pretty sick. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You get these, on the music side of things, you get these kind of clashier sort of moments in the background, which was a really neat aesthetic. The old radio samples, which is a staple in their work, and I think we're going to get a lot more of it throughout the album at this point when I'm listening through it. The layering after like a good chunk of time in it gives the track just a really like full body sound alongside some actual vocals outside of the radio sample, which was awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. This was a nice balance of like that dark with uplifting melodic composition, really stripped away but tastefully combined to kind of create something that it makes for a really neat track. Yeah, it was my favorite for sure at this point through the album. This was definitely like, this is where I started to get really excited. I'm like, cool, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff to go through on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that takes us to a Holy Ghostless Father and Son. Let's go ahead and listen to that.
I like that.
A man's foes will be they of his own household.
Well, I hardly believe that your own father or mother or brother or sister would be your enemy.
You're gonna call him a liar?
No, I'm not calling him a liar.
Well, I can do all things through the Lord.
You can't do it. You saw the way we lived and what we did. Do you believe?
I really don't think so.
Let's see, I've lost track.
I'm fucking obsessed with this track. This is my favorite.
Yeah, okay, this was the one where I was like, if you're gonna put one in there.
I love this track. Also, we're getting like a Children of God cult forward like track, and the Children of God are just, that whole fucking cult blows my mind. Like, okay, so yeah, and anyway, you want me to give you the lore?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so yeah, the sample comes from Man Alive, a Canadian TV program that explored faith and spirituality. This specific episode focuses on the Children of God, which is a cult that started in the 60s. So the cult was started by David Berg, who established himself as a prophet, went by Moses David, because he's fucking nuts. And he essentially told members that God was love and love was sex, so there should be absolutely no limits to love. So this cult quickly became like an abusive sex cult that encouraged like sexual exploitation of their members, incest, and like sexual abuse of children by adults. So yeah, they actually ended up rebranding themselves in the 70s to Family of Love to try to like evade all the scrutiny that we're getting, and they actually still exist, which is fucking crazy to me. But anyway, the Children of God literally interpreted the Bible verse Matthew 10:34-38, and that Bible verse was telling. Okay, so the quote from it is, "For I have come to turn a man against his father. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me." So therefore, David Berg was telling the recruits that their parents were spiritually blind and agents of the enemy trying to keep them from God, which is how he was able to brainwash all these fuckers. So the way they cut up this sample, I thought was just so fucking incredibly disturbing. And I just can't help but groove to it the entire way. And it's just so uncomfy and unsettling. And I was fucking obsessed with this track. Like, obsessed. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What a trip.
This was one of my favorites. Like, I actually ended up replacing it as we like went down out of my top 3. But yeah, really cool opening. It's this glitchy, distorted dreamscape with flat notes and sharp notes to make it feel really dulled. The vocal sampling work is just nuts. The rhythmic rapping is special. The sample work is just insane.
Crazy.
Like, I can't even keep up. I would rather just play the whole song for people. Because you'll never fully understand it from just a clip. Like, you need to just sit down and listen to it. It's amazing. I could never listen to this, like, out of nowhere. But the talent level of it is special.
I actually hate that I could. There's something about, like, the groove is, like...
Also because you're just a spooky person.
I'm fucked up in the head for sure. Yeah.
100%.
I love it.
So this was high up there until I had a couple of tracks that kind of ended up bouncing it out as we kept moving forward. So, but yeah,
crazy.
It is nuts.
Oh, yeah. It's honestly, I'm concerned for myself as a human. Like, I don't know. Maybe I do need that lobotomy.
Yeah, I think so too. Anyways, maybe you could get one somewhere right now in the future. That's the name of the next song. Let's listen.
Another like super eerie. We're like on a rotation of like we get a track that's like super sample forward and like actually has vocals, and we're rotating it with like an instrumental. So I appreciate this instrumental really feels like we're kind of like trapped in a liminal space almost as we're like transitioning between songs.
For sure.
Yeah, this was. I mean, I don't really have much, like, I'm enjoying the sample work more than the instrumentals just because there's just so much chaos going on, but I still have, like, a really big appreciation for this. It, like, thematically just makes sense, and I like the way it's spacing out.
It stays in that unsettling. Like, it really does. They call it hauntology for a reason, right? Because it sounds spooky when you hear old instruments being brought back to life to make music, especially like this. Sort of interlude-y, like you mentioned, with 226 on it, and really just sort of working through the chord progression for the most part on it. But yeah, it's a neat track. There's not a whole lot to sink your teeth into, but just uniquity alone, I think, gives it pretty deserved merit.
Yeah, agree.
On that end. And that brings us into Naraka. So let's go ahead. This is kind of the more high fidelity of the tracks. So let's go ahead.
You don't get any more of the lyrics.
No.
Yeah. So the lyrics are the great mantra or the Maha mantra, which is like a Sanskrit chant that is used to purify the mind, awaken spiritual consciousness, and bring inner peace. So I like that we're also transitioning through all these different religions. Like we started off with kind of Christianity. Now we're into Hinduism. And we're talking about like the gods Krishna and Rama, which are just avatars of Vishnu, blah, blah, blah. So much. I hope you guys all know your religion studies because there's a lot to go on here. But anyway, I'm not going to do my definitions for each of the gods. But anyway, I am appreciating. We're going to be here for too fucking long if I dive into everything that I've written down. But as far as the progression of the album goes, what I really appreciate is that, like, we start off with this prophecy. We have this like transition from science to mythology with hydrogen, helium, lithium. And then I felt like Age of Capricorn was kind of like the announcement of doomsday. And then Father of Sun is where we started our recruiting into this cult. And now this track feels like we're fully indoctrinated into this cult, and we're like officially starting our prayer process and like just submitting to it. So I think it's just a really fucking sick evolution. So yeah, you can talk about the Sonics. I'm stuck on the theme.
So you start off, obviously, you get a way more present bass, almost like this is the live instrumentation stuff that they really wanted to focus on this album, and I think they nailed it, like specifically on this track. You get way more fidelity, obviously, so it feels a little bit more revitalizing and less burn kind of all the way through without changing the whole atmosphere of everything, which I thought was really cool. So I appreciated that a lot. Really chimey melody over these like really gothic bass lines kind of creates this really big, overwhelming space. But then it moves into, this synth kind of melody, which you kind of got a little bit at the end of that clip there, which I thought was a really neat movement. Plus, you get the sampled vocals in there with the refrain from the bass lines, which I thought was really sweet. I really appreciated the breaky sort of beat behind on it. It transitions into a way less intense outro, but still with kind of a still air that you could make it. If you could make a noise with just still air, that was kind of what was sitting in the background at the end of this track. Yeah, it was another cool track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that takes us into what was kind of another interlude, because again, you're not wrong. It feels like every other one is you're kind of flip-flopping back and forth with Acts of Magic. I didn't grab a clip for it because it is quick. It's only 1 minute and 18 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. You get a way more manic bass line on this, a lot more persistent and high tempo, which is kind of a big change up from what the rest of the album is. So when you're talking about the theme, this is when you transition to like, okay, now we're practicing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Now we're a part of this. Now we're actually out there doing the things, whereas everything else was setting up the story.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta put together the lore and all of that stuff behind it. Now we're out there actually doing the work of servants of whatever.
The children of God, man.
Yeah. Exactly.
Crazy.
100%. So this was a cool one. It made me really nervous about what we're going to fly into, but excited at the same time. So
yeah, this one just got my heart pumping. I was like, oh my God, now I'm stressed.
100%. 100%. That's exactly what I think it was intending to do. It nails it perfectly on that side of things. And that drives us into Memory Death. So let's go ahead and listen to that.
This one was fucking sick too. I love that we have like that heart rate monitor beat, and then that those haunting vocals are screaming death rattle to me. So I really feel like it's somebody trying to like squeeze out almost their like last words. So this literally just feels like the death of our past self. Like who we were is gone. We're fully in this cult here. Like thought it was sick. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting you to say that. Yeah, obviously, it slows all the way up into like a way more kind of open space setting. Really interesting how it felt like a heart beating quick on Acts of Magic. And now we dive into this space with the sound of the the heartbeat monitor in the background. And you get these really, obviously, like you mentioned, these ethereal sort of noises over top of everything. Really interesting, really neat atmospheric music. You get that haunting sort of feedback buzz that drifts this song into the next one. For me, it wasn't the most engaging one, but atmospherically,
crazy though. Yeah,
is fitting everything else. So, like, yeah, there's a lot to break down here. Again, you read way more into it than I ever would be able to.
It screamed death rattle to me. I was like, yeah, our past selves are dead. We're done. We're new life now. We're in the cult, baby.
Well, yeah. I'm like actually like kind of nervous about you more now as we continue to go through this.
I love this shit.
Like I feel like you might end up in a cult based off of this album more than you'll feel detracted from doing it.
Honestly, I'm susceptible for sure.
Well, The Word Becomes Flesh is the name of the next track, so let's go ahead and listen.
Dude, again, this is so fucking sick. This is my number 3 on my top 3.
Really?
I think it is so brilliantly creepy. So the sample is taken from the 1983 educational documentary Introduction to Development, which is essentially a time-lapse video of the development of a chicken embryo. So the way that they did like that incredibly like robotic and mechanical sound narrating the creation of life, I thought was the most jarring juxtaposition, but I was fucking obsessed with it. I was like, that is just so crazy. So it does kind of feel like the word becomes flesh, like we died. This is the creation of our new selves now here. And like, it's crazy. I loved it. Anyway, I loved it. The sample tracks are definitely I'm appreciating the instrumentals a lot, but the way that they're combining the beats and like digitalizing these samples is mind blowing to me. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. On the music note side, obviously you got a pluckier little bass line here, still in those flat and really unsatisfying tones. But we have a bit of pace again. The percussions kind of come in. It feels like it's sort of bubbling to the surface waiting to break out, which I thought was really cool, especially with these scratchier sort of notes as they come to the forefront. And then the piano takes on a stronger role at the same time. Like, you kind of just get decibel rises of like different things as they kind of keep coming up kind of all together. Everything's still getting louder and louder as you kind of keep going. And then obviously, like you mentioned, you cut in those radio samples. The sample work is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's impressive to cut them into the rhythm so that it's hitting the timing of what they're doing and really creates like a song out of what is spoken word and intense sample work. And their cadencing is just incredibly technical. I don't produce, so like I can't say a whole lot to it, but like the way these are being spliced up is really unique and just insanely impressive. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was a fan. And then we get to go into the Magic Land.
Ooh.
With Into the Magic Land. Let's go ahead and listen.
The way it's on a constant loop while like also like steadily building up is fucking sick. Like it's so trippy. It really feels like just like primo like brainwashed material. This was pretty sick.
This was 100% my favorite.
Was it?
track.
Wow.
Oh god. Like you get the 16-bit performance, which I think is really cool, and like the melody is like super nostalgic for me. When those guitars kick in,
Okay.
it gets me so good, and I just love the sound combination. And then the percussions come in, and it just does it to me again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this to me was like a 10 out of 10 song.
Wow.
This was absolutely incredible. The instrumentation and the combo with the 16-bit is super unique. I felt like a wave hit me over and over again every single time they moved to the next bar. And then it's just a unique experience. And then the last little bit of the outro, you just get a little bit of that like extra string work, and it was just this album was genuinely magical to me. I love this track so much.
Oh, it's so whimsical, Magic Land. I'm so proud of you.
I love it.
Yeah.
This was remarkable. And then we go to Blood in the Labyrinth. So let's get bloody about it.
This is my number 2. Wow. I love this track a lot too. So yeah, you didn't pull any of the sample, but it's from a 1979 anti-drug documentary called Angel Death. So it's like exploring the effect PCP usage has on like relationships and like physical effects of the drug. So like there's a man interview that
PCP can affect your relationships?
Huh?
PCP can affect your relationships?
I'm pretty sure any kind of drug use can.
Maybe I should think twice.
Poor Dana.
PCP right after
Poor
this.
Dana. So like we have the man's interview is like focusing on his like is kind of like the violent impulses that people experience when they do PCP, and then we have like a woman as the second interview who ended up committing herself to a mental hospital because she witnessed her friend drown while they were on PCP. So I think it's like, again, as far as like cults go, I think drug usage is a very prevalent part of the of the whole culture of a cult. So I love how now we're kind of transitioning to like the physical effects of what this kind of brainwashing can do to us. I also, so we've hinted to abuse, but now we're literally like witnessing like domestic violence and death, and the creepy whispered vocal samples. The way they did the interview, I think is fucking incredible. I thought the sitars were beautiful. I loved this track a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I noticed like really strongly like the heartbeat percussions there, that boop boop, pretty consistently throughout the whole thing. I mean, I was still just really flabbergasted into the Magic Land.
Yeah.
So, like, this one was tough for me to like bounce back with after that track.
Yeah.
You get these really nice low tom drums though on it, which are really dulled out, which I think like kind of creates this really flat, opaque sound, which I thought was cool. Then you get the higher strings that come in, which is part of the clip that we got there. The switch up over to that to end it was, I think, fantastic. You get that whispering sample in there, which again, I get it's gonna scratch all of your creepy girl itches. After what that last track did to me, it was really hard to follow it up. But the drums becoming really high fidelity and the strings standing out so aggressively on this, with all the atmosphere that it still has always created, kind of the whole time in the background, was a really fantastic take and a really unique perspective. Yeah, like I don't have a whole lot of complaints on this one either.
Yeah.
But then we get into Deep Time.
Also known as, what did I say? Tape 5, according to YouTube.
5. Yeah, for whatever reason, if you guys want to YouTube it, it is
Tape 5.
as Tape 5.
I was very confused.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and listen to that.
This one was probably my least favorite on the album. And I'm sure it's just because I'm missing something. Because I'm appreciating that we're getting time in between each track to kind of like digest. But as far as like the progression of like whatever storytelling we're getting, this one doesn't make sense to me. And again, I'm sure I'm missing something.
This is one of my favorites.
Really? Okay. Do explain.
It's just, I mean, like sonically,
it is really very pretty.
I think it's gorgeous. Atmospherically, like the melody, you get the penetrating bass line through it. It's like, it's really, really simple. It's so much more detached from what so many of the other tracks have been. The melody really comes in strong kind of midway through and sort of has like this optimistic as we depart from those flat notes. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I really appreciate about this track specifically is we left those flat and sharp notes behind and really moved into like a more organic scale. And so this felt way more like a return from dark to like a lot more of a lighter atmosphere from it.
That's what I'm missing.
You get a little bit of that harp action and stuff like that with it that I really appreciate it. Like I said, the movement from being something that was always kind of in this darker, more menacing kind of scale shifts over, right? To being like a lot more conventional, a lot more what everybody would say is not unsettling.
Yeah.
This is just like the least unsettling song
again, that's
out of all of it. In fact, it feels like the opposite. It feels like it's actually like a hopeful things have moved to a different way, right?
I do feel like I need to talk to my psychiatrist because this being my least favorite track is probably concerning.
Yeah. Yeah. Not every day has to be Halloween, Mel.
Damn it. I did think it was very pretty. I just was enjoying the creep.
And something that I think Mel understands is the title of this next song, because all reason departs.
What is logic? We don't need that.
Let's go ahead and listen.
As for the beyond.
I knew we were going to get an Aleister Crowley reference and I was waiting for it. So here it is. So yeah, I thought this had a really perfect transition from the previous instrumental, which I appreciate. And now the previous track is kind of making more sense to me with your explanation. So like the speech that is sampled here is from Magic 4, which is basically the cult religion he found based on essentially do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. So it's a new astrological age where essentially you're pursuing your own true will. It's all focused on like individualism and self-realization. So you explaining that we went from something that felt more like digital to something more natural makes sense here to me, because now we're trying to focus more on like self than like cult. So yeah, I appreciate that now. Thank you.
There you go. 100%. Obviously, you get a lot of run-ins from track to track, which I always love it. Obviously, I'd love to listen to this on a different medium other than Spotify, because I think just hearing it play all the way through without any gaps or anything like that to load up the next song or anything like that would work really well. But we get back into dark with that instant robotic, grubby vocal. You get this big open up with these really wooden sounding drums, kind of like on the edge of being like industrial jungle sounding, which I thought was a really cool take. It's a pretty one, just a bit more atmospheric and dark than my tastes usually tend me towards, so it's exactly where you like to be.
Yeah.
But I did also think it was really cool how you get that reverberation off the beats around the midpoint that kind of makes it feel like it's bouncy in a way.
Yeah.
It's really like an interesting way to do it, because again, it still feels dark, but
it's bouncy's fun. So like
at the same time, like it's so interesting the way that they kind of continue to mix the two together. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, and that takes into what might have been the name of our podcast actually at one point, Arena Americanada. Let's go ahead and listen to that.
My first note was cue instrumental, because we knew it was coming. I also learned that Americanada is Spanish slang to describe typical, like, they say North American, but I feel like Canadians aren't as bad with, like, their, like, obnoxious movie tropes or, like, bad habits. So this one was, like, super, super theatrical, so I'm assuming that they were going for, like, kind of, like, over-the-top movie trope to kind of make fun of, like, American culture. Poor Canada's just getting roped in with it. Like, sorry, you guys had to be our neighbors. But yeah, I didn't have much else to say about this one, but it was fun.
Yeah, obviously a bit more of a manic beat with the shaker presence, which was a cool change up. The synth on it is huge. Synth is massive on this one. It kind of caught me off guard, actually, just how aggressive it is. It's like a synth rock track, but like, again, it burns way more. It was a really cool look. It's a unique crossover for a style that I already find really unique. So yeah, it's a change up. Not something that I'm going to sink my teeth into a whole lot, but like I definitely appreciate and respect everything that goes into it. So
yeah, same.
It was good there. And that takes us through to the process. Let's find out what the process is.
This one was really interesting to me because it felt like a lot of like broken up radio speak. It was kind of reminding me of like
Train station.
oh, like people kind of coming and going, passing through kind of a
'Cause-
thing.
Well, it's so like for me, so it sounded to me like it was like a train station or a subway station, right? Because you get those kind of call outs and stuff
Got
like
it.
that. But it sounds like there's a ton of people. Like it starts the not in this clip specifically,
Mhm.
but the kind of beginning part of it sounds like you got a lot of people that are kind of like walking and moving past each other and all
Yeah.
of this kind of stuff. What that has to do with the theme, I'm sure you could probably put those pieces together better than I could.
Mhm.
But then it like, because it starts off, you just get kind of a droning bass line, but like the sound of the vocal sample being like a radio, like a rail station, and then the sounds of crowds moving and hustling and bustling and doing kind of all that kind of stuff. And as it kind of goes through its progression, it takes a little while before it gets there. It kind of slowly becomes more and more musical, and it starts changing over from sounding like people going through the train station and doing all of that stuff to more natural sounds, the birds,
Yeah.
those types of things that you sound, with some really pretty piano kind of spots behind it. I thought it was a really neat track for that reason. I think it's kind of this progression from, like the clutter of, urban area and all of that kind of stuff into something more natural and organic as you kind of go through. And that kind of actually creates more of the melody as you go through. You'll also notice you have a lot less of those flat notes. There's actually they're not using they're using again more organic and settling, not unsettling chord progressions and those types of things that I think is really working to its favor here. Again, that transition from one to the other as it kind of goes through it all. And again, you might thematically have a better answer for me than I do, but
I really didn't have an answer for this one because I was trying to put together, we're talking about Phoenician bishops, which were early church leaders from what's now modern day Lebanon and Syria. So I was trying to figure out what that connection was. Also, the audio was giving me this is so stupid. So when you play a video game sometimes you're discovering things, and I'm trying to think of what video game does this specifically. Actually, Fortnite does it sometimes, but obviously this is more serious than Fortnite. But you will find found audio tapes and you'll be listening to them, and it's sounds like old garbled up recordings from a researcher from way back when, and they're giving you little hints to things. That's what I was getting from it, and it wasn't making sense to me. So yours makes more sense. I think.
Does it? I don't know if it makes any sense at all.
This one I'm kind of stumped on. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It almost makes me wonder if this is post cults, but
we're
also
returning-
slowly working towards post society in general.
Yeah.
And moving towards if we were to all disappear and people were to come here afterwards, what would they find of us?
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
So even when we're all gone, what's left, what kind of remains kind of idea. But
okay,
I don't know.
I like that. Yeah, I don't know.
You put a lot more research into the whole album than I have, so I'm not going to sit there and try to tell you what to think.
I also knew that you had Sonics. I knew that, as far as the music goes, you had it down. So I was I'm going to fucking dive deep and try to figure this out.
You did go deep, 100%. Deep space, even.
Deep space!
Or deep time, sorry, deep time.
And space.
Well, I mean, but Deep Time is a name of a track on the album. You might remember it as Tape 5.
You're right. Oh, I thought you were transition. Isn't it the next one? You retreat into time and space. I thought you retreat in time. I thought you were transitioning to that. I was
trying to talk about deep time and now space. The next song is called "You Retreat in Time and Space." Let's go ahead and listen.
God, this is like the prettiest we've been since Into the Magic Land. And Into the Magic Land, I felt was like us kind of living in like a blissful ignorance, where this one feels like we're fully transcending now. Like we've reached whatever our nirvana is, and it's like so ethereal. And I love the twinkles. I love that we build up to this like groovy beat. Yeah, this one was really pretty. I liked it.
Yeah, obviously, this was one of my favorite tracks. This was also in my top 3.
Yeah.
Super atmospheric, very large and open space with some pokes of strings in there. The album is obviously ending off on like a way less foreboding, aggressive. It's really transitioned into this more inspirational, open sky sort of soundscapism. Once that melody comes in, it just adds so much dimension to the track. It went from boring, because it does take a while before you get to there. It went from boring to really fantastic, really slowly, but I thought the rewards were so worth it.
Agree.
The payoff of this song was specifically like one of the really cool features about it, which when you're working with your theme, I think maybe that's kind of what the whole thing is about, is the rewards of, again, we've kind of gone through all these things where we're this transition from society or kind of being trapped into something more ethereal, something at a higher plane, and this feels like that track where it's like we are there now.
Yeah.
Right? We've fully transitioned from, especially if you talk about like all the cults and moments and stuff like that, but it might even just be civilization as a whole, right? The human race, and the move like where we started off and we created all of these things in our head that it had to be, and by the time we're all gone, hey, suddenly the world's a better place at the end when we're no longer
a part of it.
a part of it. You know what I mean? But it does kind of translate into a lot of cultism and stuff like that too, where
you're like,
I mean, especially when you think about cults where people have taken their own lives and stuff like that as being a part of and stuff like that, is that being like their whole release. Some cults are literally based, that is the fundamental of what it is we're all going to die to be able to reach a higher plane.
Exactly.
It kind of also matches up with what they're telling, what these cult leaders have told people before, is when you drink the Kool-Aid, you'll finally hit the you retreat in time and space of life. And it's like kind of like this really, it's unsettling to think about it that way. Is like, okay, so it might actually be like the world's doing better without us, but also like maybe we're doing better once we move past
we've left it
too. Right? So it's kind of plays both sides of the coin. And so I thought it was a really cool track.
Agree.
And then you get a little I Saw Through Platonia
to
finish everything off, the last track of the record.
Okay, so Theory of Platonia is a theory by physicist Julian Barber, and it's essentially a mathematical catalog containing all possible moments of the universe. So like in this theory, there's no past, there's no present, or there's no future. Time is a complete illusion. There is only now and what's happening in the moment. And I love that heartbeat, as creepy as it is, as we're going on, it like grounded me a lot at the same time. And it was almost like reminding me to breathe. So it like shifted my focus on something that felt more like spiritual, to something like more physical. Like it felt like we were back in our bodies in this one to like round out the track. I thought it was such a cool way to close.
Yeah. Obviously, it returns back to that flat soundscape progression that the opening had. I was curious if it finds its place or to hold on to the lighter spots. It doesn't. The way that it ends is kind of like the story isn't over yet. Actually, the story might even repeat itself. Like it's just the way that it is. It wasn't my favorite ending of all time. I think it played its part in a sense, but
it made
I would have been fine if it ended on you retreating time and space.
I get that. I do think they wanted to bring it back from space to, I don't know, in the present. So I get it, but the last one was definitely prettier.
For sure.
Yeah.
That is Inferno by Boards of Canada. So Mel, what did you think?
This was a fucking trip, man. This was crazy. It's definitely one of the most original and creative albums I think we've ever covered. The production was unlike anything I've ever heard before. Samples were incredible. The instrumentals were super, super pretty. I definitely did lean towards the sample work more than the instrumentals. So I was kind of opposite of you, but that's just because I love my spooky shit. My only complaint with this is I feel like I can't think of many situations where I want to revisit it. There are definitely tracks that stand out and I will probably listen to sporadically, but yeah, it's definitely requires a very specific mood, a very specific time, or just I just want to sit in this album again kind of a thing. So I feel like that hurts it a little bit, but it also doesn't really feel totally fair to say because it's just so incredibly creative and artistic. But yeah, I give it a 7.9.
Yeah, okay. This album is insanely interesting. I think what makes it special is with all the time it spends not providing much, it's really setting you up for them to give it all to you and really maximize the high that you get out of it. The going up portion of a roller coaster, it hits its point and then it's overwhelmingly incredible. But you need to make it through that part of the roller coaster. And that's where, even I, who hyperfixates on music, kind of struggled with the album. As far as talent level and uniquity, Boards of Canada, between their instrumentation, their total project composition, and sample work, they're unmatched. As far as my overall interest in the album as a piece of art is top tier. Is it something I can regularly return to and find as engaging the 10th or the 20th or the 30th time as it was for me the first time?
Probably not, yeah.
Probably not, right? A few tracks, yes. And they are spectacular tracks. The rest of the album is very much a time and place, and I just don't really see myself there often at all.
Yeah.
Huge respect to the artistry and everything like that behind it. But just taste-wise, I don't know when I'm going to want to go through and experience it all again. So I gave it a 7.3.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
100%. But yeah.
Crazy.
So everybody, that was our cover of Inferno by Boards of Canada. Were we right? Were we wrong? Did you guys wait the full 13 years and were you as amped to check it out as I know a lot of Boards of Canada fans are? Let us know in the comments section. We appreciate it. But otherwise, like I said, tremendous respect for Boards of Canada for
real.
Somebody who doesn't really know anything about them, and I think that makes both of us to be able to get a good experience about what was going on there. But yeah, subscribe, let us know what's going on, and did we miss certain things? Did Mel's research leave gaps? Please make sure that you pop in and let us know.
If anyone can understand or can explain the process to me and where that fits in on the story, I would love to understand its deeper meaning.
100%.
That one stopped me, man.
But yeah, guys, this is Brandito, this is Mel, and this is another album review by On Beat Off Trip. We'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Mwah!
3, 2, 1.